Hey everyone, Andrikats here and welcome back to my channel. The new patch 11.2 is just around the corner and with it comes a whole bunch of new mounts to collect. I've managed to track down 23 brand new mounts, excluding trading posts and other events. These are all straight from Karesh and there's some really cool ones here. I've spent plenty of time digging through the PTR, so I've got a pretty solid idea of how to get most of them. Given this is quite the list and I want to include as much info as I can, well, it's gonna be a long video, so grab a coffee, get comfy and let's get into it. In no particular order, the first mount is the pearlescent Krolusk, a ground mount that drops from a rare spawn named Urmag. You can find this rare on the largest island to the east in Karesh, quite near the world boss. It's easily soloable, with a 700-ish item level, and it seems to be the typical daily grind. As always, you can use alts to increase your odds, and as a matter of fact I got mine after just a few attempts, so the drop rate might not be too bad. The spawn timer also seems pretty reasonable, with Urmag respawning roughly every 10 to 15 minutes. That said, if you see it up, make sure to kill it. And yeah, this should be one of the easiest mounts to obtain quite early on the patch. Next up is the Translocated Gorger, a green variant of the Shadowlands version. The source of this mount is the Devourer Attacks, a new world event that frequently takes place across Karesh. This actually shows up on the map and it can spawn in 4 different locations, resulting in 4 different versions. What you need to do is actually pretty straightforward. Just fight Devourers to fill up the progress bar, and once it's full, a final boss will appear. Now, the mount doesn't drop from the Devourer rares, which was my first assumption. Instead, you'll need to collect devoured energy pods, which come from these rares. You'll need 20 in total to summon a special rare that most likely grants the mount. Each week you can collect 1 pod from each of these 4 different rares coming from the Devour Assaults, so be sure to take part in all of them to gather the full set across your warband. The assaults respawn roughly every 15 to 20 minutes from the moment that you kill the final boss and are usually found near the ecodomes, but like I said, they are easy to spot on your map as a rare icon and even showing the event's progress. Undoubtedly this will take some time, as you need at least 5 weeks to gather all 20, given that you can get only 4 per week. I couldn't complete this fully on the PTR, so we'll have to wait and see what happens once all 20 pods are combined. The most logical outcome is summoning a specific rare that actually drops the mount, and given the 5-week grind, well, it's very likely to be a guaranteed drop. Now, if dragons are more your style, the Unbound Star Eater awaits in Manaforge Omega. Dimensius, the all-devouring, the raid's final boss, and most likely the end boss of the world within, drops the epic dragon mount on mythic difficulty. While it's current tier, it should be guaranteed for 1 player in the raid group, but later on that chance will settle to around 1%. While most of us will never get to see him in mythic mode, at least for the time being, yet we can still revisit this raid in the future, albeit with razor-thin odds. It does actually look quite similar to its master, which makes it one of the flashiest boss drops ever. Seriously, I mean, look at these void effects going on. It's like you are looking at the skybox of a voided planet. As most final expansions have mounts generally known as ahead of the curve, it seems that this time is no exception. The Royal Voidwing, an awesome voided dragon, appears to be a reward from Dimensius. This time though, you must kill him on either heroic or mythic mode before the release of the next expansion. More specifically, it comes as a reward from completing the quest Mark of the Twilight Oath, presumably an item that drops from Dimensius. Like I said, on heroic and mythic, and most likely this mount will vanish when Midnight launches. I'm pretty sure goal makers are already rubbing their hands at this point. Speaking of goal making opportunities, I'm really excited to share that Goldcapped has actually given me a 10% coupon code just for you. Goldcapped is an amazing website that teaches you how to become a pro goal maker in WoW, whether you play Classic, Cataclysm, Season of Discovery or Retail. But it's not just a guide site, it's a whole community of top-tier goal makers. They are the go-to spot for everything goal making, with cutting-edge guides on the best gold farms, flipping strategies, and goal making methods across all versions of the game. They are constantly updating their content, so you'll always have the latest methods at your fingertips. You can choose between a monthly or annual membership, and with my code Andrikats10, you'll get a 10% off. If you've ever wanted to learn how to make some serious gold from real experts, not me. Now it's a great time to check it out. You'll find the link and all of the information down the description. Alright, back to the video. Let's stick with the Omega raid for a bit longer, specifically the new Renown track tied to it, the Manaforge Vandals. As you climb through their ranks, you'll unlock access to 2 more mounts. The first one is the Vandal's Gearglider, a sleek glider mount that you can purchase from Bachoso or Bakoso, I'm not sure. Anyways, you'll find this vendor a shadow point just to the left of the Omega raid entrance. While this mount is currently hidden in-game, it looks like you'll need to reach Renown level 8 and spend 500 gold to get it. The second mount coming from Manaforge Vandals is the Bone Freezer, unlocked at level 14. This one comes from Zoturu, the Renown Quartermaster. Since Zoturu handles Renown rewards, it's likely that the Bone Freezer will be given to you automatically once you hit level 14. No gold needed for this one. Since we are talking about the new patch, there's also a brand new Renown track for doing activities around the zone, and I'm talking about the Karesh Trust. This Renown track is the source of 2 additional mounts. First up is the Ruby Void Creeper, unlocked at Renown 15. You'll be able to buy it from Karesh Trust Quartermaster, and you can find this NPC at one of the biggest buildings in Tazavesh. I hope you have saved up a bit of resonance crystals, because this Creeper mount has a price tag of around 8,000, and like I said, you do also need to be Renown 15 with the Karesh Trust. Likewise, at Renown 19 with the Karesh Trust, you'll gain access to this second mount, namely the Terror of the Wastes. And yeah, it's just as terrifying as it sounds. This monstrous creature costs a little over 11k resonance crystals and can be purchased from the same quartermaster. There are more mounts with that same creepy aesthetic too, so if you are into this whole vibe, well, yeah, there's more, no judgment here. And so another mount in this similar style is the Terror of the Night. This one you can get by completing the Vigilante achievement. This is the final part of a larger series of achievements tied to Warrants, a type of a weekly quest you unlock at Renown 3 with the Karesh Trust. When you unlock them, head to Constable Zoardas in Tazavesh, grab the quest he's offering, pick up the Wounded poster, and begin your quest. Each warrant involves tracking down a rare elite, but to summon it, you'll need a special item, usually obtained by helping out 3 NPCs to collect the components. Once you've assembled the lure, key, or whatever the item happens to be, you can summon that rare. These mobs have quite a bit of HP, and the game actually does recommend doing them with at least 3 or more people, but that said, I did solo them. Of course, I had a full Mythic tier gear at the moment, but I mean, who keeps count? You can complete 1 warrant per week per character, and once you have finished all of them, currently seems to be 6, you will unlock the Vigilante achievement and thus earn this absolute nightmare of a mount. I don't know, for some reason it reminds me a bit of the Stranger Things beast, but yeah, whatever. I think it's better if we finish off with all of the similar looking mounts, and the last 2 terror looking mounts come from the Mythic Plus front. The Azure Void Flyer is rewarded from the Keystone Master achievement, which you will earn by reaching a 2000 Mythic Plus rating in Season 3, a very cool looking mount and honestly probably one of my favorite versions of the bunch. If you are up for a bigger challenge though, pushing to 3000 rating will earn you the Keystone Legend achievement. This Mythic Plus achievement brings the Scarlet Void Flyer. This one is a more twisted, a red-hued variant mount, definitely fitting for a reward of that level. A new season also means a new Delve mount, which you'll get right away at the start of Season 3. The quest Ethereal Delves send you to Bran at the Delves headquarters in Donegal, where you find him in a rather embarrassing situation. Most of his gear is missing.
What have we here?
Yeah, at first I thought it was a bug, but it turns out it's not. Long story short, you'll need to help him recover the gear. You'll complete a short questline where he introduces you to Season 3 Nemesis, which is by the way none other than Kaiveza, and by the end of it, upon completing the quest Repossessed, he will reward you with a new mount. Yes, another dirigible called the Delver's Mana Schemer. This is the base model, though like its counterparts, you can obtain schematics to customize it further. If you are up for the bigger challenge, you can also fight against Kaiveza, and by defeating her on the 2 question marks difficulty solo, you'll unlock an ethereal skin for that same airship. Quite futuristic, if you ask me, and of course in par with the whole karesh aesthetics. Pretty dope, in other words. This patch also introduces 3 Karoks, which, if I'm being honest, they are probably one of the ugliest flying birds I've ever seen. First up is the Resplendent Karok, which seems to be tied to a war quest called the Hope of Karesh. I haven't seen this war quest appear on the PTR yet, but that's also the name of the final campaign chapter, one we currently don't have access to yet. So it's very likely that this mount will become available once we complete the full campaign. Next is the Umbral Karok, which is your reward for completing the Glory of the Omega Raider. Like all raid meta achievements, this isn't something you can just knock out by clearing the raid normally. You'll need to coordinate with a group and complete some unusual objectives during each boss fight. Definitely a team effort, but the mount is a neat badge of honor for those who love achievement hunting. The third one is the Lavender Karok, obtained through the new outdoor feature called Face Diving. This allows you to slip into a different version of the zone, essentially seeing the world through ethereal eyes. To be able to enter this phase, you'll first need to obtain the Rishi Wraps, an artifact cloak unlocked after completing the 3rd chapter of the main campaign in Karesh. Once you have it, you can start the face diving intro quest by picking up the quest Another World. This takes you to Hashim and Shadanis in Overlook Zoshul, who will teach you the ropes of face diving. To access this alternate reality, you'll also need to interact with face conduits. These are scattered throughout Karesh and even show up on your map when you're nearby, making them quite easy to find. You will soon realize that unfortunately you cannot fly in this phase. Boo! Yeah, I know. At first, you won't even be able to use ground mounts at all, but later you unlock a face diving talent that lets you mount up. Though do keep in mind that you can only be mounted on a specific mount, called the Face Law Slateback. This actually replaces any mount that you summon. Yeah, kinda annoying, but what can we do about that? To make up a bit for the lack of flying, these conduits themselves act as a fast travel system. Think of it like unlocking waypoints, like other games used to have. Once you have reached a face conduit, you can use it to instantly teleport to another one. Though you do need to visit each conduit at least once to be able to travel there. Being able to teleport back and forth between the shadow remains of Karesh, like I said, kinda makes up for the lack of flying. Alrighty, so now you have face diving unlocked. How do you even get the Mount Lavender Karok? Well, the quick answer is you buy it amongst other things from Shadanis using untethered coins. Now, how do you get this currency? Well, after unlocking face diving, you'll gain access to a weekly quest called More Than Just a Face, offered by either Constable Zoardas, the dude we've seen before with the Warrants, or you can pick it up from Shadanis. To complete it, you'll fill a bar by doing various activities inside the untethered space. That can be doing world quests, killing rares, looting treasures, you know, the usual stuff. As a reward, you'll receive untethered coins, which is the currency used to buy a bunch of things from Shadanis, including the Lavender Karok, which costs 10 coins, and there's also another mount, the Acidic Void Creeper. Since this weekly grants 7 coins, you will basically need to complete the weekly 3 times to be able to afford both. The good news? Well, untethered coins are warband transferable, so you can actually complete the weekly on alts and send them over to one character to be able to buy the goodies. Since we are already talking about the untethered space, let's talk about another mount that you can obtain. I've already hinted at it, and it's the Face Law Slateback. It doesn't act only as the exclusive mount that you can ride while face diving, but you can also earn it as a proper mount to use everywhere. This is one of the 3 Slayebacks that we'll see today and has a distinct ethereal look. To obtain this mount, you'll need to get the achievement Face Lost and Found. This requires collecting all the lost weapon appearances that come from face orbs. These orbs appear only inside the untethered space once you have unlocked the Rishi Wraps talent called Secrets of the Depths. Not only that, but later, with the Orbs of Power upgrade trait, enemies killed while face diving will also have a chance to spawn these orbs. There's actually over 20 appearances to collect, so it's probably something you'll complete gradually over the course of the patch. The orbs are a bit rare to find and seem to spawn mostly near face conduits, ruins, but yeah, they do take their sweet time to respawn, so it's not really easy to farm them. At least that's what I gathered so far by playing PTR. And on top of that, even if you do find one, it doesn't always give a weapon appearance. Most of the time you'll just see grey trash items. Now, I'm not trying to discourage you, of course, that might actually change for the better when it goes live. Moving on to another Slateback, we have the Blue Berry. This charming ground mount comes from the quest A Blue for You. To unlock it, you'll first need to reach Renown 9 with the Karesh Trust. Then, Baeth in Tazavesh will offer the quest Stealing What Is Ours, where you rescue Berry from shady Zai-brokers. After that, you'll need to complete a quest chain that unlocks 1 step per day, taking a total of 4 days to complete. By the end of this quest line, you'll receive Blueberry as a mount reward. And then you can say run berry run. Do you get that reference? Let me know in the comments. I'll also have a detailed guide on these mounts, so check the description for a link if it's out already. Otherwise, it will likely be one of my next videos where I cover all of the quest steps in more detail. Moving on to the last mount of this family is the Curious Slateback, tied to none other than everyone's favorite broker Venari. What do you mean it's not your favorite? This mount has a chance to drop from the Ringling Pinnacle box, a weekly cash rewarded for completing the Ecological Succession World Quest. This takes place in the Ecodome Oasis, where you help Venari restore the area. To complete this world quest, simply fill the bar to 100% by completing various activities, like doing quests for Venari or nearby NPCs inside the Oasis, killing rares, and doing Farmville-style activities, like it's 2010. For instance, you can water the plants, collect data from robots, fish hydrobites, and many more. Each rare kill or weekly quest grants 20% progress, while doing a Farmville activity grants about 3% each, but it takes a second. Furthermore, participating in Devourer Attacks and killing the final boss of them also grants a quest for Venari, giving another 20%. So far, we don't really know what is the drop rate, but since the box is weekly per character, you can use alts to open more boxes, which obviously will significantly boost your chances at obtaining this mount. Like I said, filling up the bar and opening a box is only a matter of a few minutes, so it's very easy to do it without. Now, so far we have mostly been looking at PvE activities and seasonal rewards, but I think it's time to switch things up and dive into the PvP content, and specifically more mounts. So let's see what's in store for all of the competitive players out there. First, we have the Vicious mounts, and this season are gonna be Void Creepers. As usual, each faction gets its own color variant. The Alliance version is a sleek purple-blue, while the Horde one is more of an orange-green combo. Personally, I do prefer the Alliance one. No offense Horde, but orange and green just isn't doing it for me. Kinda gives me troll vibes. I'm not the best person to teach you how to farm a Vicious mount, though I did get one in the past, thank you very much, but here's the quick version. After reaching a 1000 plus rating in rated PvP, you'll start progressing toward the seasonal Vicious mount, whether you are doing arenas, rated BGs, or solo shuffle. So every win on a rated match will fill up the bar in the PvP panel, and once it's full, you'll earn the Vicious Void Creeper. Now, for the top tier PvP players, the Gladiators, the new Gladiator mount for Season 3 is the Astral Gladiator's Fellbat, a void-infused Fellbat. Fun fact, this is how it looked before. I know, quite terrible, isn't it? Blizzard recently updated its look to better match the PvE seasonal mounts and the whole kareshi vibe. It looks far more impressive now, which is fitting since Gladiator mounts are among the rarest in the game. If you do see someone flying one, well, they have definitely earned it. And not by chasing butterflies, likely by knocking plenty of players into the dirt on their way to the prestigious title and thus mount. Alrighty, 2 more mounts to go. First up is the Sthaarbs Last Lunch, and Devourer ground mount commonly seen roaming Karesh. To get it, you'll need to take down the rare mob named Sthaarbs. It spawns above the Ecodome Oasis, visible in both the normal phase and the untethered space. However, it's only attackable in the upside down, or should I say purple down. I mean the untethered space, whatever. So make sure you've got phase diving unlocked before you go for him. Reaching Sthaarbs isn't as simple as flying up, as we've already established there is no flying while face diving. The only way to reach him is by getting onto the floating platforms that surround him. You'll need to use the portal next to a guardian mob right by the Oasis Face Conduit. With the Rishi-Rap's cloak equipped, an extra button called Phase Warp will appear as you get close to the portal. Click it and you'll be teleported up to the platforms where you can finally engage Sthaarbs. I was able to solo him on the PTR, but he does actually hit hard, so if your gear isn't that great, you might wanna bring some help. One of his most dangerous abilities is Repulsive Gaze. This can actually knock you right off the platform, so to counter it, step into the magical puddles in either side of the platform. They'll save you from falling, so you can keep up your DPS and finish him off. From what I've seen so far, Sthaarbs spawns on the hour and seems to have a weekly lockout. It does seem to be per character, so you can always boost your chances by farming on multiple outs. Although I did get it on my first kill, so I don't know if it's guaranteed, probably not, but either way make sure to kill him if you see him up. And with that we have arrived to the final mount, the Trustee's Gearglider. I saved this one for last because, well, we do basically have no idea on how to get it. This one is a complete mystery, its source is currently redacted, and yeah, it is unclear whether it's actually available in patch 11.2 or possibly reserved for a future update. That said, looking at its appearance, it's nearly identical to Vandal's Gearglider, with the only major difference being a gold-bronze inner disc instead of silver. The description hints that it might be tied to a questline involving the Zai Cartel, and there are some side questlines revolving about the Zai Cartel, at least one that I found to be on Tazavesh, but again nothing is confirmed for now. Once we have more info about this, I'll be sure to make another video. And that's pretty much all guys, 23 brand new mounts, which are all coming in Karesh. They all look amazing and pretty unique. I'm honestly super hyped for this patch, the story looks amazing so far, and these mounts are just awesome. How about you? Do you like these mounts? And if so, which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for sticking around until the very end, and make sure to drop a like if you have found this video helpful. Don't forget to subscribe for more WoW coverage and hit the bell to stay up to date. Good luck with whatever you are doing, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!